Now, to conclude the session, we have a case study. Now, the case study is based on harmony that we have been talking about all along. And now, the case study is about the flourishing village of harmony, a journey towards universal human order. And the background is that of a village. The name of the village is Shantinagar. The village of Shantinagar, that is a peaceful town in the foothills of the Himalayas, was once typical of many rural communities. It comprised approximately 200 families, a large number, primarily engaged in agriculture and local crafts. While there was a sense of community, underlying issues like resources, like disputes, occasional interfamily feuds, limited access to education, and environmental degradation were prevalent. People generally pursued individual prosperity, often at the expense of collective well being. Now, here they're talking about a community, a village called Shantinagar, where they had sufficient resources, where they had sufficiency of everything. But yet it was very self centric. They only thought about themselves selfishly. But then this particular village evolved and it became a model village. So now we're going to see that how harmony, how inclusiveness brings about progression. So, in phase one of the same, we are going to see the seeds of change and the seeds of change from a smaller unit to a larger unit. So, the phase one talks about family, family order, right understanding in individuals. A few thoughtful elders and a group of young, educated individuals inspired the concept of human values. They began to critically examine the prevailing way of life. They realized that true happiness and prosperity weren't coming from endless accumulation, but from right understanding and relationship. Individual self reflection, reflection of an individual or a person. They started by reflecting on their own desires, realizing that their fundamental need was for continuous happiness and prosperity, which couldn't be met by material things alone. This led them to understand the importance of right understanding, understanding of self and the values that they have. How did they go about it? They had family workshops. They initiated informal family workshops initially to begin with. These were awkward, but slowly families began to discuss. They started to open up. They had so many things that they encompassed in the whole. The very first was trust. Parents openly discussed assumptions about children's intentions, and children shared their feelings of being misunderstood. They collectively worked on building assurance of each other's positive intent. Then they had respect. Family members started participating as right evaluation, appreciating each other for who they are as human beings rather than differentiating based on the roles. Example of the age or the gender. It reduced arguments and fostered genuine appreciation for each other. Then they had care and guidance, which is very important for a support system in a family. Parents consciously started nurturing a sense of responsibility for the well being of their children and guiding them with understanding rather than mere instruction. It was not one way communication. They started to exchange thoughts. Children, in turn, began showing gratitude towards the family members. Then we have affection, which also is very important for a family unit to run good. The underlying feeling of being related to each other as human beings is strengthened, manifesting as warmth and spontaneous support. They became a support system for each other. Now, what was the outcome at the family level of the same? Within 2 years, Communication within families dramatically improved. Now, 2 years is a long time. It doesn't happen overnight, but yes, it did change. Conflicts reduced, and there was a noticeable increase in mutual affection and understanding. Children felt more secure and open. Families started making decisions collaboratively, ensuring the well being of all members. This established the foundation of family order. Then in phase two, it was all done planned in a framework. Phase two, expanding the circle, the society order, the community that we live in, relationship and justice. As families became more harmonious, the positive changes began to ripple outwards. The elders and youth facilitated dialogues at the village level, applying the principles learnt in families to the community. Then they had a right evaluation in the society. How did they do it? Villagers started seeing each other as fellow human beings with similar fundamental needs and aspirations. Obviously, they lived in a common society. This reduced differentiation based on caste, economic status, or occupation. Then came justice. The concept of justice was discussed as mutual fulfillment in relationship. This meant ensuring mutual well being in every interaction, in all phases. Resource management. Previously disputed common resources like water and grazing lands were now managed through democratic village councils, ensuring equitable access and sustainable use of all families. Then we had conflict resolution, which is very, very important. If we have issues which remain unresolved, they cannot be harmony. Instead of feuds or relying solely on external authorities, internal village mediation committees, guided by elders, respected for their wisdom, resolved disputes based on mutual understanding and justice, a give and take, not merely rules of power. So they were not only imposing, they were also understanding. Then we had workplace ethics. Local business and artisans adopted fair pricing and equitable wage practices, making it equal for everyone, ensuring mutual prosperity. One's gain is the other person's gain also. For producers and consumers, both alike, and employers and employees. Education and healthcare, which is a very important sector for any community to thrive and do well. The village collectively decided to invest in quality education for all children and basic healthcare facilities, understanding these as fundamental rights and needs for a just society. They pooled resources and sought external support in a principled manner. Now, we may have excess of something which the other person may need. So, we need to be giving to maintain that harmony in our community. The outcome at the society level. Shantinagar saw a significant reduction in social friction. A sense of collective responsibility emerged. As a unit, they started to think. Decisions were made through consensus, general discussion, ensuring the benefit of all. People felt secure and supported. This established the societal order. Then, how about nature? How can we not be in harmony with the nature that is around us? How we need to coexist with them? The villagers realized that their well being was intrinsically linked to the well being of the nature, the ecosystem that they carried with them. They started extending the principles of coexistence to the natural environment. Now, how did they do that? Understanding coexistence. Workshops focused on understanding the interconnectedness of human beings with the natural world. Recognizing the nature is not merely a resource to be exploited, but a partner in existence. Interconnectedness again. Then we had sustainable practices. Farmers adopted organic farming methods, reducing reliance on harmful chemicals. Water conservation techniques were implemented village wide. Tree plantation drives became a regular community activity. Waste management was developed to ensure proper recycling and minimal environment impact. Pollution was kept at bay. Responsible consumption. There was a shift towards more conscious consumption, reducing unnecessary waste and exploitation of natural resources. So, if we exhaust natural resources, there will be so much of disharmony. Outcome for nature. The local ecosystem began to revive, water resources became cleaner, soil fertility improved, and biodiversity increased. The air quality was noticeably better, contributing to the health of the villagers. They established the nature order. Now, again, they started to expand further. They expanded to global consciousness. As Shantinagar, it thrived, it became a model for the other villages and even attracted attention from regional authorities and international observers. Now, how did that happen? Sharing and learning. Villagers actively participated in inter-village dialogues, sharing their journey and learning from others. They recognized that the principles of human values are universally applicable wherever they may be. Transcending boundaries. The artificial distinction of nationality, religion, or race become less significant as people recognize their fundamental identities as human beings seeking happiness and prosperity. The concept of us versus them began to dissolve. It dissipated. Now, the global responsibility factor. The villagers now living in harmony with themselves, their society, and nature naturally felt a responsibility towards the larger human family and the planet. They advocated for policies that promoted global peace, sustainable development, and human dignity. Contribution to universal human order now, which is very important. Shantinagar, by embodying these principles of universal human order at its local level, became a living example that such an order is feasible and desirable. Like we said, it became a model village. It demonstrated that peace and prosperity can be achieved by living in harmony at all levels. So we did see that harmony in the family, harmony in the community, harmony in the nature, and then gradually expanding it globally. So that is the learning outcome of the harmony and the importance of harmony in the system or the environment that we live in, the society that we live in.